Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this YouTube channel where we talk about life, love, marriage, ministry, and money by showing you that you are a product of God's grace through those processes. And it's just learning the principles that will be able to allow you to process so that you can progress in those areas. So listen. If you're new to this page, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new and you're watching me on social media, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Tonya Harden. Pastor T, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a pastor that pastor along with my husband, as well as mentor and entrepreneur, where I rock out with other people and be able to grow together in all of those areas. So listen, if you're not a part of my Butterfly Academy mentorship, join it. Yes, please do that. But until then, let's talk about it. If you have not watched the video introducing Jump, the book Jump that changed my life, listen, we're about to rock out with this. So get your pen, piece of paper. I shared this in the BAM community as well as on my YouTube page. But I'm going to just share a snippet, not too much, but just a snippet and give you some principles that you can process. So rock out with me, get your pen, piece of paper, or write it on the canvas of your mind. Here we go. Let's grow. So welcome. I've been under the weather, so this video may be posting late. So please excuse me, but I do have some cough drops so that I won't choke doing this video. But we're talking about the book Jump. I decided after introducing the book just to kind of share some principles of chapter 1. So I'm going to be doing this for the continuations of this year of 2024. And if you're watching this after that, thank you. But I want to be able to share with you this book that changed my life, that got my husband and I, started us off into the place that we are today, moving in ministry, moving in marriage, moving in money, and our businesses, and other things that we're doing. And this is the book that really, really made us see the bigger picture. And so that's what I want to show you in this book. So one of the things I'm talking about in this book is chapter 1. Chapter 1 is ain't no lesson like a bought lesson. There's no lesson like a bought lesson. He says ain't no lesson like a bought lesson. That is chapter 1. Again, I'm only going to give you snippets because I believe in purchasing other people's books and reading it so that you can be able to apply it yourself. So I'm going to just share a couple of principles really, really quick that's pulled out of this book. So I'm going to share 10. I'm going to do it quick. Number 1, the first thing that I understood within this chapter was embracing the lesson in your failures. And I talked about that in introducing the book, but and embracing the lessons in your failure and understanding that these lessons were never necessary. Every setback was really a setup. Every setback is able to carry you and allow you to have valuable lessons that you're able to learn from. It allows you the experience to be able to pay attention to what you're doing because you've learned from that lesson, because you learned from that failure. But it's embracing the fact that you're not perfect. It is embracing the fact. I love how he he deep dives in that. So you really got to read this book to really, really understand. But he tells you how to embrace it, embrace your struggles, embrace your failures, embrace your mistakes. And I think sometimes we as individuals do not take out the time to really sit in the mistakes that we made and the failures that we made. But we're so quick to get to the next thing. My husband and I had a conversation last night. Thank you to everyone, if you know who you are, that showed up to this amazing journey that we're on and was a part of that. And one of the things we did not do, and we realized we didn't embrace the fact that where we were was where God wanted us to be. And we did not embrace the fact of the failures and the mistakes that we made. So it was embracing the thank you moments and the failing moments. It was all necessary. It's all a part of you being able to jump. You got to realize that. Number 2, it also taught me the importance of investing in my growth. Write that down. This book, in this part of this chapter 1, really, really tells us, there's no lesson like there's no lesson like bought lessons. It's learning that okay, I make failures, but let me not make that mistake again and learn from those that have went ahead of me. And so you learn to invest in your growth. Mistakes aren't wasted if you learn from them. Mistakes are wasted when you don't learn from them. You got to be able to view your value, your failures, but also learn to invest in your personal development. My husband just had a meeting with our coach, our business coach, that he meets with every other week, because we want to be able to develop in our growth. We want to be able to grow and be able to develop. I have to do the same thing when it comes to, before I do a BAM program, I make sure that I'm learning to develop in my growth. I'm learning from a book, or I'm learning from a coach. I'm learning from someone that I could be able to grow from. So you got to, but I invest in them so that I can be able to grow. All right. Number 3, take responsibility of your own journey. He teaches you that, how to take responsibility of your journey, taking accountability of your journey and respond. Don't blame others for where you are. What you say, Tonya? Don't blame others for where you are. We have it bad to blame other people. Excuse me, y'all. For where you are, we're blaming other people that we are not growing and we're not where we're supposed to be because they're not doing this and nobody. You got to be willing to understand that your decision is your decision. Because of the decision, I tell any marriage person this. I say, baby, you chose him on your intelligence. You said yes to him on your intelligence. You said yes to that job on your intelligence. You said yes to that business on your intelligence. Take responsibility and accountability for your strengths, for your mistakes, but also take accountability and ownership and responsibility for your journey of being resilient, of being a risk taker. Take responsibility in saying that, man, I was a risk taker. And right now, baby, we're taking a risk. Jesus on the main line. But I'm a risk taker and I take responsibility for that. So sometimes being a risk taker, you make some huge mistakes, but it is okay that you made that mistake because you were willing to jump. Number 4, pain is a currency of growth. He talks about that. That pain is a currency of growth. It's it's not comfortable when you are doing something that's unfamiliar. It is not comfortable when you are doing something that is out of your norm. And I can tell you that because I am you and you are me. If you've been there before where you're doing something out of your comfort zone that you ain't never done before, but it is painful because it costs you. I can't wait. I'm getting ready to preach a sermon really, really soon before the end of the year. Last Sunday in this month, actually. And I'm really, really homing in on that this gift that God give you, it costs. It costs you something to be able to transition your mind, to transition your thoughts, to transition your heart into something that you can't even see. But all you can do is trust God, and it's painful. You may get talked about, you may get laughed at because this is a decision that does not make sense to everybody else, but this is what God told you to do. He told you to jump. He told you to do something different that you ain't never done before, but it's going to change the legacy of your entire family. It's emotional and sometimes financially, you know what I'm saying? Painful because you make this decision. It allows you to see that pain. It's a currency. It's a party, baby. You just got to go through it, sugar. Just keep on going. Trust God. And if he told you to do it, you're going to look on the other side and say, Lord, I always say this. I'm always telling my testimony of when God told us to downsize, I was scared out of my mind. And it was a financial shift for us to be able to do that. But it was a better financial shift, but it did not feel good. So it's very painful. But one thing I loved about that downsize, when the Lord told us that even in the midst of downsizing, it was the biggest spiritual growth in our life that we ever experienced, regardless of the emotional pain that it caused, regardless of the disconnect from people. Excuse me, y'all, I got this in my mouth. Regardless of the disconnect from people, regardless of the hurt from people, it did not matter because it was the best spiritual growth that we ever had. I shared with someone last night with the group that we were with. I said, listen, it was the worst experience ever, but our life is unrecognizable. We've experienced so many great things because of making this decision. Make the decision and jump. it will change your life forever. If you decide, if God told you to, now don't you move. If the Lord ain't tell you, don't be out here moving. And God ain't told you, because baby, you'll be out there by yourself, alone, like Peter on the water. And Peter looked down. Don't look down, sugar. Keep walking on the water, right? Excuse me. 5. Not only and when you ain't no lesson like a ball lesson, he talks about courage to jump. You would never discover the fullness of your potential without taking a risk. Even if you fail, the lesson gained from taking that leap is invaluable. It's the best lesson that you can ever learn. That's why I created Butterfly Academy, because it's all about the transformation of the butterfly. It's all about the transformation of the mind. It's because you're doing something that is transforming you from the inside out, and you have no idea that this is changing you, but it does not feel good. I always talk about the cocoon of the butterfly. Man, it does not feel good, especially when you do not grow in the cocoon, but you still stay there. And your tail too big to be there. Your mindset is too big to be there, but you stay there when God is calling you to something so much greater. So you got to have the courage to jump. And God, someone shared last night, God will give you the capacity of faith that will be able to change your life forever. You got to be willing to have the courage to trust him in the process and watch him work in your favor. Number 6, he also talks about in chapter 1, ain't no lesson like a ball lesson, is when failure is a stepping stone, not a tombstone. I think last time we talked about failure is a stepping stone to a step up. But he talks about in this part of it, failure is a stepping stone to and not a tombstone. We think that failure is the end and it's over. And he shares with us in this part of the book that it's not that. It's not over. You got to use this setback to prepare you and propel you to be able to go forward. Like at the end of the day, baby, you can still overcome that. You can still go through it. It allows you to gain insight that would allow you to say, if I did it before, if God done it, and this is what Steve Harvey taught me. If he did it from him, you got to hear a story. I can't tell you everything. You got to go get the book. But baby, if he did it for him, I said, Lord, I know he's going to do it for us. I'm believing it. And he has done it. He has shown his hand. And I'm not telling you from somebody I know. I promise you, I got over 500 videos on this YouTube page. Man, go watch them. You see the journey of God growing us. Go to our Harden Enterprise page. You see how God is. Go to our New Destiny channel, which our church channel. You see how God has grown. Go to our SJCOC, our nonprofit organization. You see the growth, and it did not happen overnight. It was sometimes failure, sometimes mistake, a lot of times. But we trusted God in the process. And we realized that it wasn't a tombstone. We ain't dead. We ain't going to die. Baby, I cannot forget the times when we thought we were going to die. We thought that our marriage was going to die. We thought that our relationship with our children were going to die. There was a time I felt like I was the worst mother ever, making mistakes. I felt like I was the worst pastor wife ever. But it was times of failure that I needed that. But it wasn't my death. I had room to grow as long as I have air to breathe, okay? So, y'all, I'm sorry. I got to have this cough drop. Number 7, he also talks about wisdom is often earned, not given. You got to earn wisdom. You got to read. You got to put in the work. You got to listen to different podcasts. You got to go to different seminars. You got to sit at the right tables. Man, I'm just so proud of last night. You got to sit at the right tables. You got to be willing to gain as much wisdom as possible and learn from those that have went before you. Be willing to gain advice from others that's already done what you've done. Have conversation with people and not be prideful and feel like, Bishop always say this, my husband, he always says this. He says these words. He said, listen, act like you're the dumbest person in the room, because out of the 99 things that they say, out of the 100 things that they say, baby, you can take one of them things away. You could take away 100. Listen and be willing to learn from others, and you'll see it's such a Ugh, it's an honor to sit in a room with we just talked to her yesterday. She's our real estate, you could call her our coach, but she's our mentor. And just to listen to her, she's going to be in an event that we're going to do and we can't wait. But she's been doing real estate for over 30 some years. Why not learn from wisdom? Learn from somebody that has been doing it for a long time that can teach you. Number 8, resilience over perfection. He's always talking about this throughout the whole book, about the resilience, the importance of striving, the importance of not being perfect. I talked about that on the last one. Number 9, focus on your progress and not your regret. You're going to make mistakes. Don't worry about that. Don't be regretful. Don't worry about it. Just ask yourself, what did I learn? What was the lesson? Okay, let me take notes so I won't do that no more. And how can I improve? How can I become better? Right? 10, and lastly, trust the process. I always use the perm. You can sit in that chair and get that perm. You can trust God's process. You can trust God is going to bring you out. You can trust the growth of it. You can trust that success is inevitable for you. You can trust that your lessons that you're learning, that you're buying, that you're paying for, that you're investing in, that you will be able to pay. It'll pay off in the future. Everything that my husband and I started doing in disaster restoration for our company, we learned last year in a 3-month coaching session that we went through, and we did not implement it until, so that was this year. That was earlier this year. We did not implement it until August, September. Why? Because we had to trust the process. We couldn't do it overnight. When we started our church, in June. We started planning for it of 2010. We didn't open the church until September, but we were able to listen to wisdom, our spiritual covering, before we walked into it. I think the only thing we moved on fast was our marriage, but we've been married this month 24 years. Praise the Lord. The Lord and the foundation of the Holy Ghost, that was a part of our marriage. But we had to learn through the process. So I say this, that number 1, a lot of things that I learned: embrace the process of failure, invest in your growth, take responsibility for your journey. Pain is a currency. Growth, courage to jump. You got to have courage. Failure is a stepping stone, not a tombstone. Wisdom is often earned, not given. Resilience over perfection. Resilience over perfection. You're not going to be perfect. Focus on your progress, not regret. Last but not least, trust the process. Trust God in your plan. Trust God in what you're called to do, and watch God work. So listen, I am getting ready for my 90-day challenge. On January the 2nd, we're going to have our orientation, and then we're going to be rocking out for 90 days in a community where we're going to grow together. A lot of information that I'm going to be sharing. Go to my website, find out more at TonyaHarden.com. Right there, TonyaHarden.com. And let's rock out together, and let's grow and glow and go to the next level as we thrive in 2025 together. I can't wait to rock out with you. To those that have signed up, I'm so ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready. I can't wait to rock out with you. Until next time, we're going to be continuing the book. Jump, go get your copy. Read the book. Let it be life-changing to you as it was to me. Until then, if you don't remember anything else, remember that you are a product of God's grace and mercy when you see yourself through God's eyes and not people. Until then, stay blessed. Bye-bye.